After a delay of over 2 months, the Indian Space Research Organization today confirmed the undocking of spacecraft SDX-01 and SDX-02 as part of its space docking experiment, SpaDeX. Hi, my name is Soumya Pillai, and I will take you through how India's historic SpaDeX mission finally crossed the finish line. It was meant to be a sprint, but it ended up being a testing obstacle course, which ISRO finally managed to conquer. Now, even though the announcement came today, the undocking was attempted early this week. The final announcement only came after all the systems were tested and deemed healthy. The space agency conducted a maneuver to make an extension from SDX-01 or spacecraft 1 to SDX-02 spacecraft 2. The levers that were holding the two spacecrafts were released and a decapture command was successfully issued. Following the command, the two spacecraft moved away and the undocking experiment was successfully completed. Imagine it as two objects that were clamped together and were released. But the process of separating the two spacecraft was not as easy as it sounds. After the spacecraft were docked and performed as a single unit, SDX-01 and SDX-02 were not able to generate enough power for the undocking to be initiated. When I say unable to generate power, I mean that the solar panels on these could not generate the energy required to power the maneuver. Another area where the scientists struggled was the attitude control system, or the ACS, of the second craft. This simply means that the space agency could not ensure the spacecraft's desired orientation and orbital position for the experiment to be initiated. ISRO officials said that their sole focus for the experiment was to get things right and not lose either of the two spacecraft. But why is the SpaDeX mission so crucial that had scientists treading with such caution? The SpaDeX mission, which took flight on December 30th last year, was originally supposed to have displayed the docking and undocking of two spacecraft in the first week of January. However, things did not go as per plan from the get-go. The in-space maneuvering was initially scheduled for January 7th, as part of which two craft were set to display rendezvous docking and undocking. A day before the maneuver, however, the space agency announced the postponement of the experiment to January 9th. While the space agency made multiple attempts to move the craft toward and away from each other, the final docking attempt could not be conducted on January 9th either. This was because the craft could not stay put at the required position and were drifting away from each other. By mastering rendezvous, docking and undocking technologies, ISRO aims to enhance its operational flexibility and expand its mission horizons. SpaDeX is a milestone in advancing India's capabilities in space docking. The mission findings will be critical for future space missions, satellite servicing, space station operations, and interplanetary missions. In its mission document, the space agency mentions that the primary objectives of SpaDeX were to develop and demonstrate the technology for rendezvous, docking and undocking using two small spacecraft, and to demonstrate controllability in the docked conditions, exhibiting the potential for extending the life of the target spacecraft. Now that we have achieved this milestone feat, the stage has been set for future missions like the setting up of the Bharatiya Antariksh Space Station in 2035, the Lunar Sample Return Mission Chandrayaan-4, and landing an Indian on the moon by 2040. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Soumya Pillai for ThePrint.